Warm welcome to today's Apasen Care Conference and annual dinner. It is the first of its kind, and it's great to be here at the atrium. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and I'd like you all to applaud on that note, please. I'm Nadia Ali from the BBC Asian Network, and I'll be your host this evening. A little bit about Apasen. They are one of the leading health and social care service providers in Greater London. Now, Apasen began their journey, their mission, over 30 years ago, and they made a promise to provide the best service possible to their clients. They don't just cater to your needs, but they cater to your every need, and they tailor-make their every service possible to meet each and every client's needs. And this would not have been possible without their fully trained and excellent care workers that they have working for them. And they always go that extra mile. I can stand here and tell you lots more about Apasen, but tonight we will be learning more about their work, their services, and most importantly, about the most important people that make it happen and provide that care, our care workers who are here today. So can we please show some appreciation for their hard work and for allowing Apasen to actually lead with this mission, because it would not have been possible without the great care workers that they have. So to begin with, I'd like to call upon stage the chairman of Apasen, Mr. Amir Hussain, to come on stage and say a few words, please. Thank you.
Good evening. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all first ever Apasen Care Conference and Annual Dinner 2018. You are aware that Apasen has been providing care service for last 34 years in London, particularly in Tower Hamlets. We provide service to the vulnerable people, whether the person has a physical or learning, mental disability or illness, or simply needs support. With our limited resource, we always try to maintain high standard of service. Therefore, we review our strategic plan to regular basis, considering the needs. Everyone has the right to independence and good quality of life, whether they are living with disability, ill health, entering later years and others. Through a wide range of service and activities, in effect, project we are committed to provide inclusion of the well-being of the vulnerable people. I very much hope that this conference will help you to better understanding social care and service providing by Apasen. I would like to thank our hard-working care workers, all project operation staff, manager, board member for their commitment for smooth running of the organization. If you wish to know about any of our service, please feel free to ask our experienced staff. I would like to thank all the stakeholders, in particular Tower Hamlet Council and other London Bara, we have been engaged with them. Thank you very much, everyone. We are waiting for some politician and some of the professional, but they are not come yet. I hope when they come, we will enjoy together this evening. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Much. That was Amir Hussain. And as he quite rightly said, that today's event is all about providing information to care workers, and not just care workers, but even if you have somebody at home that needs to be cared for, today is the right place where you can get that information. You can really get to know how the health and social care services work here in the UK, especially in Greater London, through today's conference that Apasen has so kindly put together. We have a small documentary that I'd like to present to you now, which will show you the work that Apasen has been doing and Apasen International have been doing over the last 30 years or so. So please take a look at this.
Apasen was formed by a group of parents with the help of social workers at the Beatrice Tate Special School in Tower Hamlets. Apasen is one of the leading charity organizations working for autistic people with learning and multiple disabilities, their carers and parents in Tower Hamlets and Greater London since 1984. In 1995, Apasen was able to move into larger premises situated on the ground floor of the Brady Centre at Hanbury Street, London. Over the last 32 years, Apasen has been working on improving the quality of the life of people with learning disabilities and to empower their families and the youngest able adults, especially in terms of health and education. Apasen has been providing services to over 500 families. In 2009, Apasen celebrated 25 years and accomplished its long-standing demand of having a purpose-built service centre in Tower Hamlets in the year 2011. We offer a number of services that include home and community services, opportunity zone, day services, information, advice and advocacy, Apasen Lodge, respite care, Apasen training in social care, ATSC. Apasen has become one of the leading service providers to vulnerable people in the community. We are always committed to value the views of our service users and learners in order to ensure that we take initiatives to meet the needs of those people. Apasen International was established as an international not-for-profit organization in 2013 in response to an urgent need to improve health and social care in Bangladesh. Following Apasen's 34 years of experience, the British Bangladesh All-Party Parliamentary Group encouraged Apasen International to focus on vulnerable children in Bangladesh with neurodevelopment disorder. Apasen International has already started its operations center in Dhaka, Sylhet, Gazipur, Pabna and Khulna to provide basic learning support to the disabled children who desperately need us to help them.
আর 2-3 স্কুলে লেগে গেছিলাম কেউ ভর্তি করাইছে না এই স্কুলে ভর্তি করে আল্লাহর মিলে আমার পোলা অত সুস্থ কথা বলতে পারছে না ভালো করে হাঁটতে পারছে না দৌড় দিতে পারছে না মন সব পারে
Your financial support can make a huge difference in transforming the lives of disabled children.
There you have it. That's all about the work that Apasen has been doing over the last 30 years. And we will know about their international project a bit later on. But I'd like to now invite on stage to say a few words the locality manager for London South East, North East London Skills for Care. It's none other than Ali Rossbridge to say a few words, please. Thank you.
Some of you might know me from before because I'm a Tower Hamlets resident and I'm one of the people that remembers Apasen being formed back in 1984, and what a long way it's come since then, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here. My current role in Skills for Care, you may be aware that Skills for Care is funded by the Department of Health and Social Care to support all adult social care organisations with things like all the workforce development that you need, recruiting the right staff, retaining staff through good career pathways and training, and leading good and outstanding quality personalised care. So I know that quality care is reliant on passionate and caring staff. And that's who we've got in the room today, and it's brilliant to have so many of you here. Care work has never been more important than it is at the moment, and yet it's also grossly undervalued. We know it's undervalued by the way in which the amount of pay that you're paid. It's undervalued by some of society's misconceptions about it. But you know how important it is. And we really want to thank the 300 care staff, I think a lot of you are here today, for all the work that you're doing to deliver high quality services to those you support. And now more than ever, we need more and more care workers. You'll see in the leaflet that you've got in your bags how the population is aging, how many more people are going to need care and support. There's a massive increase in need, and we know that there's going to be 600,000 more care workers needed in the next 20 years. So all of you here today have got a really important part to play, not just in the work that you're doing, but in talking about what a wonderful job it is to support somebody and trying to encourage other people to become care workers too. We've got quite a lot of local initiatives in the East London area that I cover to help recruit more people, and you'll be glad to know that the Department of Health and Social Care is putting £3 million into running a recruitment campaign to try and persuade more people to go into becoming a care worker. So there's going to be lots of television adverts and that sort of thing coming in the new year. Look out for that. Just wanted to say a little bit about your services. I know you've been rated as a very good provider, and I also know that you're striving not just to maintain good, but to achieve outstanding in terms of CQC. In Skills for Care, we've done quite a lot of research of what makes for outstanding care. And I thought I'd just say a couple of things, because it will link to what you're doing already, and you can see how important it is. So one of the things that CQC says, that's the Care Quality Commission who inspects social care, is that outstanding care requires good leadership. Now, you're proving that today. You've got all your leaders, your trustees, your managers all here, crucial to leading and modelling the values of the service. It's a very difficult role to be a manager, particularly the registered managers. I know we've got Shuab and other colleagues who are registered managers here. The buck stops with them. If anything goes wrong, they're the ones that actually get blamed for it. So I hope we're supporting them in that role. But good leadership is essential to making Apasen what it is, because it creates that positive workplace culture that's so important. Some of you may have heard the Chief Inspector of CQC, Andrea Sutcliffe. She talks about a mum test. She said, is this kind of care the kind of care that I would want my mum to receive? She's also started talking about the brother and sister test. Is this organisation the sort of organisation I'd want my brother or sister to work in? Is it an organisation that cares for its staff? Is it an organisation that ensures people want to stay and work with you? And I know that from all of you being here today, that Apasen certainly is an organisation that people want to work in and cares for its staff. Leadership is also about striving for excellence and creating a learning organisation. And you are a learning organisation. You've created a learning centre as part of your organisation. And you're looking, I hope, for best practice and sharing that best practice, learning from mistakes, and being able to change things that need changing so that you are driven to get better and better as time goes on. And you're relying on the impact of what you do and evidencing how important that is. One of the other things that CQC look for is innovation. They want you to be able to look at creative ways of what we call mitigating risk and supporting choice and control. So important in the work you do with people with learning disabilities or autism. And I hope that as you're moving forward into this next phase, you're looking at how innovative you can be, but also embracing some of the new technologies. I'm really excited by the way that technology can support personalised care, and there's a lot of opportunities out there that I hope you'll be doing. But most importantly, to be outstanding, you have to have the person-centred and caring staff. And you have to have staff with the right attitudes and values. And that's really, really important. People who are delivering quality care and are motivated and skilled and confident to be able to support people in the way they want. The final thing that is an indicator of outstanding care is involvement in the community. CQC look to see how are you involved in your local community, not just the staff, but how are the people you support involved. And I know today is showing, with the amount of people that you're working here with, colleagues and other organisations in the local authorities that you work in, that you are very much involved in the local communities. So I'm really pleased to be with you, but unfortunately, I had a prior commitment, so I'm going to have to go as soon as I've finished speaking. So please don't take offence that I'm going to walk out and miss your wonderful celebration of food. But I wanted to celebrate with you the good work you're doing and encourage you to not just keep up the good work, but to be even better and strive for excellence. And I wish you really well for the conference today, and thank you again for inviting me.
Thank you so much. That was Ali Rossbridge. Thank you very much for joining us today. And yes, Apasen is known for the great work that they do and for the loyalty that they have with their care workers. And I think it's evident today because they have invited every care worker. And I remember before I took on this job, I went for a meeting and I was talking to the organisers and I said, "Is everyone coming?" And they said, "Yes, we've got covers. We're making sure that people can leave work a little early so that they can be a part of this conference. We want them to be a part of the family. We want them to learn. We want them to know that we care." And that in itself says a lot about an organisation. So thank you very much. Next up, we thought we'd change it up a little bit. And it'd be really nice to get a perception from a family care worker. Now, this person has been a part of this company for a while. And it gives me great pleasure to call her on stage and to share her experience and her perception of working as a care worker for Apasen Home and Community Services. Please put your hands together and welcome Tracy Ann Sapiano.
My name is Tracy Sapiano, and I've lived in Tower Hamlets all of my life. I've been a carer for 6 years. Shall I start again? My name is Tracy Sapiano, and I've lived in Tower Hamlets all of my life. I've been a carer for 6 years. I was transferred over from my old agency to Apasen, where I've worked for 1.5 years. I must say, working for Apasen has been an absolute pleasure to me. When you walk into the office, you're always greeted with a smile and friendly faces. The staff at Apasen are very approachable and are always willing to help you. You're always made to feel welcome. The staff take care of their carers as well as their clients. When visiting the office, you're always invited to make yourself tea, coffee or a drink. If you have a break, you're asked to stay and talk about your day. Apasen is like one big happy family, and they make you feel a part of it. Working with vulnerable people can sometimes be challenging, but at the same time rewarding. And I have been working with a client called Fred Galley for the past 3 years, who lives alone. Fred is a diabetic, and he has 2 knee replacements. A district nurse visits once a week. I provide personal care, giving Fred a shower, making a breakfast and keeping his home generally tidy. Fred and I have a good bond together. We have our daily chats, which Fred really looks forward to. When I've taken a holiday from work, he's so pleased to see me when I return to work. Even if I'm short of time, I always stay to go the extra mile and give Fred the extra time to have a conversation with him, a little chat. He really appreciates that. Because sometimes I may be the only person that Fred sees all week. I like to put a smile on his face. It's all worth it to me to make someone smile and be happy. I also work with people who have dementia and mental health and also autism. The most precious thing we can give to another person is our time and to listen. Listen to them to get to know and understand how they are feeling. When showing that what we really value in that person. A good communication skill makes a client feel appreciated. We have regular training courses to refresh ourselves of any new changes in our health and social care. I really do look forward to our training courses. I've learnt a lot from them. And I am really looking forward to some more. The training courses, I've learnt so much from them and thoroughly enjoy them. I'm looking forward to continue my career with Apasen. Thank you all very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for coming up. I bet you weren't trained for that, were you? No, but let's give her another round of applause, please. Brilliant. It is all about sharing your stories here tonight and feeling inspired as you leave. And I really hope that you will take something back from Apasen's conference that they have put together today, whether it be for your own family or to tell your friends and family about the services that they provide. But I really hope that you can take something back and be an advocate of this company and the services that they are providing. I'd like to now call upon stage another family carer, actually, and I'd like to know their perception, and I'd like to hear their story, how they became a part of this and why they chose this career and why this company. So please, could I have Ms. Momata Begum to please come here and to speak to us. This is a family carer of a Apasen Services user. So if I could please have you on stage to tell us a little bit about this. Thank you.
That's fine, yeah. Good evening, everyone. It's a huge pleasure to be here with everybody, all carers, all staff, and all professionals. My name is Momota, and I'm a carer for a sibling. Thank you. My sister, who's been with Apasen for the last 15 years, she is one of the fortunate person, I would say, today, and from the day she started to be with Apasen. To me, from my experiences, I've always seen throughout the past 15 years, Apasen being a unique and invaluable organization because of their staff, the way they handle situations. That's not just only the carers, but it's also the supervisors or managers, and throughout the years of experience and knowledge and seeing, observing, also the director. It's amazing the way they train their staff, because the staff who've come to the house, they've always had RVQ in their mind, in their personality. These are the carers I am talking about. The carers, each time they've entered the premises to care for my sibling, the initials RVQ has always been there. And RVQ means, for me, is respect, value, and quality. These are what those carers carry each time, every day, when they approach my sister and care for my sister. And this is, I'm talking about 15 years of experience. The way they've trained their carers and staff, I don't know how they train, but the training staff, the manager or the supervisor, they train them really well to feel that, the person they're going to look after that day understand their emotions. I'm just getting very emotional now, because today I'd like to take this opportunity to salute everybody. Salute the management, salute all the carers that go out every day, because I know and I see and I've observed that all of you work standing on your toes, not on your feet. And it is very hard to work standing on your toes, if you know what I mean. So thank you ever so much. We are very fortunate that an organization like Apasen is here for us today. And I hope, and I know, and I believe they will grow and grow to reach out those far, far away, those will be also fortunate once Apasen reaches there. And my support, my family's support will always be there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can I give you a big fat hug?
Thank you.
Oh, there you are. Thank you so, so much. It's amazing that you can come up here with so much courage and to talk about this. So thank you. We thank you for coming up here and for sharing your story. So without any further ado, I'd like to move on to another perception from one of the Apasen Day Service Coordinators, Ronak Chowdhury from East London Day Services, to please come on stage and share his story. Thank you. Sorry, Ronak. I said a he, she. There you are.
Hello, everybody. My experience with Apasen started a few years ago. After I graduated, I did work experience with Apasen for a few months. And during this time, it provided me with valuable skills which were transferable in a whole range of settings and employment. When I decided on a career change and I was studying for health and social care, one of the organizations I knew I wanted to work for was Apasen, as I had first-hand knowledge about the services that they provide. How they not only help people on an individual basis, but also society as a whole. Luckily, as I was completing my studies, the position for a project worker was advertised, and I'm standing in front of you today. Apasen provides support in all aspects of care. They provide a wide range of services such as home and community, advice and advocacy, respite, Apasen Training in Social Care, which offers a comprehensive number of training programs, as well as the Opportunity Zone daycare service, which I have the pleasure of working within. I joined Apasen as a project worker, and within the space of about 3 years, I have had the opportunity to progress within my career. Through progression, I am now a co-coordinator for the Opportunity Zone. As a project worker, I was able to gain first-hand experience working with adults with learning disabilities, and this was very challenging. But it also taught me how to be more patient, to listen more, and the ability to adapt the way that I approach work. The job is harder than a lot of people recognize, but at the same time, it is very rewarding to see how you make a difference in the lives of others. As a co-coordinator, I deal with referrals, initial assessment, quarterly monitoring, liaising with social workers and the social team, conducting supervisions, risk assessments, and these are just to name a few aspects. But each element of the role challenges me and it pushes me to learn and continues to help me gain further skills and experiences. There are many positive aspects to working at Apasen, each contributing to the position that I am in today. But the ones that stand out for me are their dedication to training employees. Through many different training programs, I have had the opportunity to expand my knowledge and be able to gain further experiences. I have very supportive management. My managers have supported me throughout, pushing me, challenging me at every opportunity. They were able to recognize my potential and ensure when at work I was being challenged. New opportunities were provided and that I was guided and supported every step of the way. So thank you. And then there's progression. I am very proud that I've had the opportunity to progress so quickly in such a short period of time. And this has motivated me immensely and has given me the drive to continue to grow and learn and give back. In the short time that I have worked for Apasen, I have learned so much and have gained so much experience and given great opportunities. And for this, I am truly thankful. And I hope that I can give back to Apasen and be a contribution to their success for years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us today. For those that have just joined, I'd like to welcome you to the CARE Conference, first ever CARE Conference actually of its kind and organised by Apasen. So thank you very much for joining. And if I could kindly, I know everyone wants to talk and network, if I could kindly ask you to please sit tight and make some notes, share the notes later on. There will be food served a bit later on with, of course, some musical and cultural event which will take place later. If I could also request you all to turn off your mobile phones, or please just on time. Thank you. That was actually, that was done on purpose, so thank you very much. Timing was just perfect. So if I could please ask you to turn your mobile phones off, or at least on silent. And in case of emergency, your fire exits are just over there behind where my hands are pointing, and there's one just over there. All right, moving swiftly on. Today, as I mentioned earlier, but for those that have just joined us now, the CARE conference is all about sharing the work that the organisation have been doing over the last 30 years. And of course, as I said earlier on, please make notes, please share, follow them on social media, and be a part of their journey. I'd like to now call upon stage registered manager for Apasen Residential Respite Care, Pamela Bonney, to please come on stage and say a few words.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if everybody knows, but I'm Pamela Bonney. I would just like to take a few minutes of your time and give you a short overview of Apasen Lodge Residential Care Home. I joined Apasen in 2012 and became the registered manager for Apasen Lodge. I am responsible for all the aspects of the day-to-day operation of Apasen, including Apasen Lodge, including managing staff teams and ensuring that the quality of services provided meets the needs of the national care standards. When I came to Apasen Lodge, I must be honest, it was a little bit of a challenge for me. And that was because culturally. But over the years working with Apasen and with the support that I received from the management team, in particular my line manager, I've really developed and learned a lot from Apasen. So I must say thank you for that. Apasen Lodge is a large Victorian semi-detached house in the residential area of South Woodford in the borough of Redbridge. We're registered with the Care Quality Commission to provide respite, long-term, permanent, short-term accommodation for learning disabilities from the ages of 18 to 65. Apasen Lodge opened in 2012. I don't know how many of you here was at that opening. It was, the Redbridge mayor was there and it was a full house. It was quite an event. So we've come a long way. I know I have. And we had one service user at the time. Our client occupancy has developed over the years. So between 2017 to the current year, we're at about 90 to 100% client occupancy. We currently provide services to clients funded by Tower Hamlets, London Borough of Barking and Dagenham, London Borough of Waltham Forest, and Croydon. Our most effective marketing for the lodge, thanks to word of mouth, we're now being approached by nearby local authorities, which is a good thing. I carry out regular surveys. I depend on feedback. It's extremely important for Apasen and the team, as it enables them to meet the services of the clients and to continually improve. As the manager, I welcome feedback from relatives and carers so they can tell me how they feel about the home, or if they're pleased or they're not pleased. This helps us to improve. We have a flexible team of staff that provides 24-hour care. Apasen Lodge conducts our own quality assurance, regular checks, spot checks, observation, to ensure only the highest quality service. We have a multicultural staff team that represents our client base. We are dedicated in training and developing staff career within Apasen. We have staff that's gone through Apasen training and moved on and gone into nursing. We currently have one member of staff that's undertaking masters in special and additional learning needs. In 2017, we turned our outside area into a accessible sensory garden. So our clients are involved in planting vegetables and flowers. You're welcome to come and have a look. Not everybody at once, though. I recently applied to CQC to vary our registration from 10 to 13 clients. So hopefully that will come through soon, because we are getting more established and more clients want to come to Apasen Lodge. They enjoy their time they spend there. Our future plan for Apasen Lodge is to continue to expand, to create an enjoyable space for our service users. What I'm looking at now is to reach out to young people. We recently employed a young boy, he's 18. He's going through our training program. He works at Croydon and he works at Lodge. He's young, he's excited about care. So we're here to show him an example and to push him in that area. So I'm looking at bringing in other young people within Apasen Lodge. So that's my goal. I'm also taking note of staff needs and their well-being, because we have to look after our staff as well. So with that note, I've given you a short overview before my director said enough of Lodge. So if you need to ask me any questions afterwards, you're more than welcome to. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you so much, Pamela. There will be a point where we will have some guests taking part in a Q&A with some of our special guests that are arriving a bit later on. So if you have any questions, hold tight, write them down, put them in your phone, but make sure it's on silent, and write them down, and you can actually ask a bit later on. I'd like to now call upon stage the Care Development Manager for Apasen, Mr. Habibur Rahman Kabir, to please come and say a few words. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, honorable guests, management board, and all my colleagues. Welcome to Apasen Care Conference and annual dinner. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This wonderful event is to celebrate today about our success and recognitions. As care development manager, I am responsible for daycare service and respite care. My colleague Pamela Boni, registered manager, has given some information already. That's why I'm not saying anything about respite care, Apasen Lodge anymore. Let's have a brief discussion about Apasen daycare service. I'm sure you all are aware of Apasen Opportunity Zone daycare. daycare service, and this is the one of the largest daycare service in Tower Hamlets, although it's one of the biggest projects for Apasen. I'd like to share with some important information about daycare service. The key purpose of daycare service for people with learning disabilities is all about their health and well-being. Apasen daycare service started in very small scale in 1996. We had a block contract only for 18 people and all service users from Tower Hamlets Council. The service have been developed gradually when government new strategies came as a valuing people and give information about how to develop a modernizing daycare service in 1999. This strategy came with lots of regulations and guidelines to follow all daycare service providing for people with learning disabilities. We had to work hard to meet all challenges, and successfully, Apasen implemented all the strategies. Let me share with some key principles modernizing daycare service ideas. One of them is service users' right. It says no one will be discriminated and should be treated individually with respect. Choice. Their choice should be valued and respected all times. Inclusion. They should be included, rather isolated at the center and also in the community. Independence. Daycare centers should play a vital role to promote independence. In line with valuing people strategy, Opportunity Zone staff team have been working hard to put in practice all these 4 fundamental areas. We have been providing person-centered service, implementing person-centered plan for each service users, setting up activities to improve their healthy lifestyle such as gym, sports, and physical activities, and implementing health action plan for every service user. We have been working in partnership with a number of agencies and organizations, including Crystal Palace Football Club, West Ham United, and Tower Hamlets Council, to facilitate and develop our service users' sports skills. We are the only organization who engage their service users more in sports activities in Tower Hamlets. And we are achieving excellence in South London Special Leagues. We are in the top table, and we don't think any daycare service in Tower Hamlets are competing with us. We are the champions. Improving individuals' numeracy and literacy skill for people with learning disabilities. We do engage our service users in regular educational sessions. Service users are attending New City College, formerly known in Tower Hamlets College. Involving in independent travel training. We do run independent travel training sessions for our targeted service users with appropriate risk assessment. Developing life skills program like shopping, cooking, socializing, and communication. Bringing them together in inclusion program, working in partnership with other organizations. We have opportunities for our service users to meet through International Day for Persons with Disabilities event. We have 3 big events every year. Apasen Daycare takes lead to organize this wonderful event for all Tower Hamlets people with learning disabilities in partnership with Tower Hamlets Council. Develop employability skill shop at Whitechapel, a brand new shop will be open soon to create real job opportunity for our daycare service users. We do involve our service users in decision-making process to make change happen through Learners Forum, which is run by daycare service users. I am pleased to inform you that over the last 2 decades, our growth of daycare service has been extended with many boroughs within Greater London. 2 day centers in Tower Hamlets and 1 in Croydon. However, the referrals we do accept from Newham, Barking-Dagenham, Redbridge, and Kingston Soil Service. We have excellent customer service feedback from our service users, family members, parents, carers, as well as very good rating from NHS and local authorities. I'd like to thank to all our daycare staff team for their hard work, commitment, and decision making, and their dedication. It would be unfair if I don't mention one name, Monir Jaman Hazra, who is working hard along with Opportunity Zone team. Working together, Apasen has come to this stage today. I feel proud to be here as one of the longest serving employee of this organization. I also would like to thanks to all my colleagues of Apasen, Management Board, and our respected Chief Executive, whose guidance and strong leadership Apasen became a model organization. Finally, I'd like to anyone interested to know more about Apasen, please visit us. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. And like you said, please visit them. It's www.apasen.org.uk. And of course, you can also follow them on social media platforms, i.e. Facebook, Twitter, etc. So please go ahead, follow them, find out more about them, and of course, go visit their beautiful office that they have. It's actually quite close by here, so in Tower Hamlets. So please go check them out and find out more about their services. If I could now call upon stage the service head of Apasen Home and Community Services, Mr. Shuab Ahmed, to say a few words, please. I think you have loads of fans here. Did you pay them? I'm kidding.
Distinguished guests, friends, colleagues, Board of Trustees of Apasen. It is a pleasure to be here today to say a few words about our service. There have been many revolutions over the past decade, but perhaps none as significant as the longevity revolutions. We are living an average of 34 years longer than our great-parents did. Just think about that. That's an entire second adult lifetime that's been added to our lifespan. And that's a great news for adult social cares. Surely, services like ourselves will be more needed across the country. And just remember, we don't stop playing because we're old. We get old because we stop playing. History was made in the Silver Jubilee of 25 years of Apasen in the year 2009. And that was one of our longest achievements. Being a long-standing charity organization in the community, something we should all be proud of. But our journey didn't stop there. 10 years on, Our milestones of special events, activities, our achievements continued. And this evening is about enjoying and celebrating our achievement. And most importantly, giving you, the care staffs, the recognition that you deserve. We want to thank every one of you who have contributed in making this successful model organization. In particular, my home care team, the operational team, who has worked very hard in order to achieve the standard of quality of service that is set by Care Quality Commission, central government, and the local authority. One of the increasing dilemma with home care is that it's increasingly getting very tough. It's getting very difficult. There are more personal care tasks, complex needs, and cases where home care staff are expected to provide nursing cares. This includes changing dressing, changing catheter bags, peg feeding, and now administration of medication. It is therefore essential that it is managed effectively to the highest standard. Everyone here today are either a care worker or a carer of someone you love. And this is what we do. We care. We care for the most vulnerable people in the society, either as a profession or just help and support you, the one that you love and care. And we make that difference to people's lives. Myself, I kind of almost fell into this care industry, coming from a very different background, back in 1999, a long time ago. And it opened my eye when I started to learn the deprived community in this borough, and people out there who are in isolation with very little support. And I just thought this wasn't right. People in this community needed a bit more culturally appropriate service. And I thought I can actually fill this gap, making a difference, and establish a well-known home care organization. I took my opportunity in 2009 and started my journey along with my colleague, which I have to mention, Mothiur Rahman, at the same time, 2003, who also joined Home Care Project at the same time to make this project successful. And the culture in this organization is very much to treat people how you would like to be treated yourself. Be a member of staff, a colleague, or a service user, or just people you see every day. As a human being, whatever background or faith we are from, we can all agree it is not ethical to treat people wrongly because of their disability. And this is no longer any other job more rewarding than ours, and we should be all proud of that. And it's that concept that I saw in this organization from the day one. Treat people how you would like to be treated. We have care staff in this office who are so caring and compassionate, and that's fantastic. People in this caring industry, our care staff, go extra mile every day of their life. And it is the most fabulous thing. And they wanted to get things right, and they do not want the service users or anyone to let down. I ask myself every day, are you happy? Are you happy? And if you are happy, to me, to have a happy workforce and pulling in the same direction, then the work can be a very pleasurable experience. Obviously, we had difficulty times in the past few years, but we have invested heavily in our infrastructure. Our new purpose-built building our network and IT systems. But the biggest achievement and the investment that we did is in our team, our staff. We run a care business, not a chain of supermarket or a retail unit. We are actually in the care industry, caring for the neediest people in the society, right from the top to the bottom. And carers are so caring and compassionate. And I am so proud to be with all this staff here. And to me, I would like to make that difference to people, in people's life. In the last 2 years, we have recruited so many staffs, almost doubled from our payroll. Many staff from outgoing organization and also those who are to put across to Apasen. And one of the key elements in our recruitment, we always talk about the 6 C's set by the Skills for Care. And I'm not going to talk about the mum test, what Ali earlier said. And it's that thing that makes us really see that our care workers need to be passionate at what they do. And I just want to remind a little speech that to all my care workers that I really liked when I heard about this. And it fits into our service very well. Some of you probably heard this. If you want to change the world, start off making the bed. Make your bed early in the morning. You will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. By the end of the day, you have accomplished many tasks, and making your bed will reinforce the fact that little things in life matters. And if you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home in a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better. So if you want to change a person's life and make someone smile, start each day with a task completed. Obviously, in the last few years, the organization, Apasen, has gone through a number of tender and procurement. Our organization faced tender back in 2009. This was one of our first experience. And we tendered for the children's service in Tower Hamlet. We actually didn't even go with the first round. We failed. And this experience was a learning curve. And immediately we realized we needed to complete in this type of bid and how competitive we need to be in securing future contracts. The council tendered home care contract in May 2016 for new quadrant-based providers. In November 2016, Apasen secured home care contract, being the ranked #1 in Southwest Quadrant. It was our biggest achievement that surely reflected the business growth. At the same time, we also got successful, ranked #1 for children home care service, the service that we failed back in 2009. And this doesn't finish here. We won a contract for carers relief, again, #1. Not bad. In footballing term, I would say it's a hat trick. Winning a 3 contract in the same year. This was the biggest achievement and turnover for our project and Apasen. But implementing these contracts was not an easy ride. There was a lot of hard work, commitment, and strategic planning required in order to compliance with the new contractual obligation. The minimum payment of London living wage, offer of minimum contract, and how to design and implement ethical care charter. And I can see our Mayor, John Biggs, who is here today, and I want to take this opportunity to thank him for having included signing up the ethical care charter that allowed our care staff to be better paid. I am sure everyone will agree here today that how much is benefited. But obviously, in order to implement these new things for our home care department, it wasn't an easy task. Carers now are paid for the travel, time they spent in meetings and trainings. Also, the sick and occupational sick pay, which wasn't included in our previous contract. And obviously the new contractual requirement where every care worker needs to log in every shift they do. And it's gone live since last Monday. It was a great challenge and something we have closely worked with commissioning team, the policymakers, CQC, and obviously UKHCA, who have shown us how we can actually implement these new elements with this contract. On top of this, as a provider, we have introduced a number of new things, and these are outside our contractual obligations. 2 years ago, we introduced our first home care assistant guidebook, and this guidebook actually tells a summary of the contractual requirement for this new contract that we're delivering. We also introduced care staff grading, and we are the only borough in Tower Hamlet at the moment not only pay the London living wage, we pay actually above this. So every care workers are graded. And we also realized how much difficult it is for care workers to gain respect, especially in this community. We understand it's very difficult. So we realize, we need to give a status. Carers need to be more professional, need to have a uniform, and we introduce a tunic uniform where care workers actually wear their proper gown and go into that client's home. Automatically, people give that respect. And that worked. And today, one of our last items in the agenda was to introduce a carer's bag. You have seen this. So this is the bag that we want to launch today.
Right, let's have you model this in the middle so everyone can see that. There you are.
Yeah, sorry.
Do you want to hold that up
No,
and
I'm
showing
just gonna
him?
quickly
Sure.
finish
Okay.
now.
I'll go sit back down.
The main purpose of this bag is basically we realized our care workers carry a lot of materials, the PPP equipments, every day. It's one of the requirements where care workers have every day need to maintain their hygiene, cross-contaminations. So carers are always carrying a glove boxes and here and there. We thought, this is an opportunity where carers can carry a bag and they can have everything, all their belongings in that bag. But the main key aim and objective of that bag was also to reduce the wastage of PPE. We realized there's so much plastic and these rubber materials are being used, and a lot of time these get wasted. We also want to reduce the expense and also, most importantly, be environmentally friendly. I want to finish off my speech here and I'll show you a small animation that actually will describe what this bag is all about. And I want to say thank you to everyone, being patient, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you very much.
A little technical hitch. Although I have to say, I absolutely love the bag. I think everyone in the conference today should be able to take a bag home. What do you think? Yes, absolutely. I definitely think so. Here's the animation telling us more about the bag.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever care conference organized by Apasen, a leading health and social care provider in the UK. Apasen is committed to ensure the health, safety and welfare of all its employees, clients, volunteers and members of the public. The effective use of personal protective equipment is the key to protect individuals from healthcare-associated infections, and PPE stock control is extremely important, particularly in the provision of disposable items such as gloves, aprons and masks. Running out of such items in a social care setting will potentially expose staff and clients to risk. Ladies and gentlemen, let's watch a presentation about our carers' current practice of PPE. A winter's morning. This is the way Rehnuma starts her day at Apasen. Rehnuma brings together clients' weekly rota and personal protective equipment fortnightly. Operation team will give glove boxes to her on the basis of number of clients on her book. Rehnuma also ensures she collects aprons, masks, hand and shoe sleeves while setting off for a visit at client's place. Rehnuma is instructed never to make do or take shortcuts without PPE due to stock shortage. If stock of PPE runs out, the task will have to be modified until the appropriate PPE is obtained. At Apasen, we have over 400 adult and children's service users and 300 care staff who perform personal care. Each week, there have been around 6,000 visits made by our care staff to the 400 service users on our register. On each shift, carers performing personal care tasks must wear the protective materials. And the approximate monthly cost for PPE is over £2,000. We have been promoting a culture of risk awareness, which is supported by a dynamic risk register to ensure that the highest possible standards relating to health and safety are maintained. Carers take the personal protective equipment, especially the glove boxes, to their client and leave them at the premises. Once the quantity falls short, the carers will collect them during their next visit to the office. Having reviewed the current practice of the usage of our PPE, we found it expensive, often unaccountable, difficult to monitor when we have double and multiple carers in a care package, and most importantly, it is environmentally unfriendly. Apasen ensures the quality of its care and support services in a number of ways. By meeting essential standards of quality and safety as laid down by the Care Quality Commission, having in place robust policies and procedures that are regularly monitored and reviewed, acting on feedback received from individuals, their families and friends, social and healthcare professionals, and other key stakeholders. Apasen is committed to initiate environment-friendly measures to ensure effective usage of PPE. Ladies and gentlemen, let us take a pledge to save the environment by ensuring efficient usage of personal protective equipment. Ladies and
slightly falling behind, so I'm going to speed things up a little bit now, and please call upon stage Mr. Andrew Hefferman, the Marketing Director for Home Care Association, on stage to say a few words, please.
Yes, so I'm Andrew Heffernan. I'm from United Kingdom Home Care Association. We're the professional association for organisations supporting people to live independently in their own homes, of whom Apasen are a long-standing member. And our mission is to promote high-quality, sustainable care services so that people can continue to live independently in their own homes and connected to their local communities. So it's a real pleasure to come out tonight and be amongst people and an organisation who so clearly put the people who use their services and who work in their services at the centre of what they do to enable them to deliver those high quality services. And it's really a privilege, and I want to say thank you to Shuab. And by the way, Shuab, I think I did make my bed this morning, but I'm not quite sure. So hopefully I'll have a nice bed to sleep in tonight. But God, I was just trying to work out when he was making that speech. Didn't I? Anyway, so thank you very much for inviting me along. I mean, this is at a time when home care services have never been more important or more essential. As you have mentioned, across the UK, we've got an ageing population. Home care already supports almost 1 million people a year to live at home at the moment, and we're in a situation where over the next 25 years, the number of people over 65 will grow from just over 11 million to over 20 million, so almost doubling over the next 25 years. And those are people who at some stage will probably need some care and support to continue living at home. And we know that 9 out of 10 people, that is what they want. They want to continue living at home, in their family, in the familiar surroundings, and connected to their communities. We also know that there's going to be lots more people with complex conditions, and that's across all age groups, who also need to be supported at home. We also know that the NHS is under immense pressure and strain, and has been for a number of years. And so we need to get health and social care working together more effectively. So to all of those of you working in Apasen's care services tonight, what I want to say is there's real opportunity over the next years. There's going to be growing demand for the support services that you deliver, and it's really about understanding what are the conditions that need to be in place to enable that to happen. So we've just got a few key messages for central government. It's really important for central government to recognise both the value and the cost of providing high quality, sustainable home care, so that the people who use services get the services they need and expect, and that the people who work in those services are properly recognised and rewarded. It also means that councils need to understand the cost of providing care, and when they let a contract, that they really do meet the full cost of providing care. And for example, where a council makes a commitment to be a living wage, or in London, a London living wage council, that they back that commitment and that promise to the workforce with the funding to the providers that enables them to meet that promise and continue to operate in a sustainable way, so that they're there not just today, but tomorrow and into the future, delivering the services to the people who they support. I think for providers, and I think Apasen's a really great case of point here, it's about really recognising and putting your staff at the centre of what you do, recognising that they are your service, they are your business. Without your staff, a home care service does not exist. So they're not just the people who support your clients, they are your ambassadors, they are your business. And I think tonight is a great example of if you look after your care staff, they will look after your clients, and that will look after all of the aspects of the business that you need to maintain. And I think the last thing I'd like to say, for all the care staff in the room, it's a real privilege to be here with you. Be proud of the difference. Be proud of the difference you're making in people's lives every single hour of every single day. That is absolutely invaluable, and you should be proud of that. And picking up on one of the things that Ali talked about earlier on, there's real evidence that the best care staff are those who come through a referral from a friend, from someone they know, from a family member who's already working a service. So if I could make one request of everyone here tonight, if you know someone in your community with the right values, the right ethos, to be the kind of care worker that you are, and you think they could make a contribution by working alongside you at Apasen, have a conversation with them tomorrow. Maybe ask them to come along and see Shuab, and actually let's build this fantastic workforce even further to meet what is going to be a challenging but growing demand for the services that Apasen and companies like Apasen offer. Thank you very much again, and I look forward to the rest of the evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much for your kind words. Thank you. If I could now call upon stage the trustee of Apasen International, Professor Cedric Bell, please. Thank you.
To this evening's function, and I've been asked to share a few perspectives in respect of training and, of course, Apasen International. I will try to keep to the adage of King Henry VIII when he once said of his wives, "I won't keep you long." Apasen Training in Social Care is the consultancy and training arm of Apasen. Way back in 2006, there was one trainer. We have now grown to a situation where over 2,000 delegates each year pass through the comprehensive range of Apasen training. But it's not just training for training's sake, and it's been particularly helpful today to see so many of our esteemed care workers paying tribute to the training they receive. We believe that we offer a distinctive training ethos, which is designed to deliver the kind of training our staff need to secure, that will strengthen the relevant skill sets in the social care sector that they need, which will also increase their confidence, their motivation, and the professional standard thresholds of all those who undertake Apasen training. But we have a strategic vision. Like all organisations, we don't stand still. We're rejoicing in the achievements of the last 30 years, but we're also propelling the organisation forward for the next 30 years. And part of that is to expand the training profile both nationally and internationally. In terms of the national outreach, we are developing in conjunction with Cambridge International Education Centre an online capacity so that the quality of training can reach more and more people in an accessible way in their own homes. And that will also facilitate taking Apasen training internationally. We have a comprehensive range of subject matter, as you would expect, reflective of the organisation's diversity. But one thing in particular I'd like to emphasise, and that is our strength and expertise in safeguarding training. Indeed, today, the 1st of November, we're celebrating November as the safeguarding month in Tower Hamlets that are one of our most important and prestigious strategic partners. In relation to training, we believe that the key to the success that we have enjoyed and which we aspire to continue to take forward is that we put a discernible emphasis upon empowering local people to have better life choices and control over their well-being and the quality of their lives, while ensuring that all sectors of the community have access to the range of support services that they need. In terms of the international reach of the organisation, I just in closing would like to share with you one of the most ambitious projects that we're embarked upon, and that is what we call the Select Project. In conjunction with Phoenix School, and I'm delighted to see here this evening Stuart Harris, the head teacher of Phoenix, and Veronica Armson, the deputy head teacher, they are a very distinguished school in relation to autism. And we're working together with them to establish in Bangladesh a model school for autism. And in doing so, we're working with the government of Bangladesh to deliver on one of their national strategic priorities, which is to deal with the challenge of autism and neurodevelopmental disorders in that great country. Because there are real challenges over and above the obvious challenges that are prevalent in Sylhet. The existing schools are only able to meet a fraction of the demand. There's a lack of transport and a lack of trained teachers. But in conjunction with Phoenix, we are hoping to open a school in September of next year as a pilot. We have acquired premises, and the exciting thing is that there's going to be an Apasen Day Centre in one of the buildings and a special school to deal with autism in the other. And our aspiration is that this will become a beacon of best practice in raising standards in other schools, not just within Sylhet and the region, but also nationally. And this is a really exciting project whereby the work and the training that we do here in UK can be transported to Bangladesh, where so many of you obviously have strong connections, and which I personally have had the privilege of visiting for many, many years in an earlier life. But in conclusion, I would like to say what a privilege it is to work in an organisation like Apasen, where there's a positivity, there's an energy, there's a welcome, there is indeed a respect for everyone, and where there's a real desire to make a difference. And in conclusion, there's always the small things in life that matter. And one of the things I always enjoy about coming to Apasen is there's a tremendous array of my favourite biscuits that I can enjoy when I have my cup of tea. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I mean, Professor Cedric Bell had a lot to say, and it's great to know the work that you will be doing with Bangladesh, and you have already started. But actually, can I, for a second, just tell you all off a little bit, especially those that are talking at the back. It's really rude. We're here at a conference, we're here to celebrate, and we're here to learn. We're here to become advocates for this great organisation that's doing some great work for the community, for the world, for humanity. So please, can we show some respect, especially to the staff that are here today. Thank you to the staff members of Atrium. I know you're working very hard, but can I ask you to keep the noise down as you're walking in and out? But thank you very much, and we look forward to the food. Thank you. And I'm going to move swiftly on now. Thank you very much, again, Professor Cedric Bell. If I could now call upon stage the man himself, actually, that had a vision, had a dream, and didn't give up. He went for it, and he made it happen. And 30 years later, we are here today having the first ever conference for Apasen of this kind, and it's great that he was able to pull it off. If I could please call upon stage Mr. Mahmoud Hassan, MBE, Chief Executive of Apasen and Apasen International.
What can I say? Everybody say it. I have nothing to say, actually.
I'm sure you have everything to say.
Okay. Good evening and assalamu alaikum. From our working experience and various feedbacks from Apasen considered arranging this kind of conference, it is a serious matter. Sometimes, I'm sure some people will not enjoy it, but it is a matter as a humanitarian issue. And I have witnessed, if anyone has got a special child or person who is differently able in a family, and that either parents or siblings, they don't have any break or any holiday, and they have 365 days to work. And we are just working to relieve them, and also the people with other disabilities, they need to have a relief and better life. They are the part of the society. They are not ignored or neglected, or it is not their fault. So any kind of disability or issues, it is a part of the society. It is a responsibility of the society, so we have to respect, we have to maintain, we have to support. This is our obligation. So on that context, we have decided that this kind of conference is important. Mainly our care staff. We got 412 staff altogether in the payroll, and we have got lots of friends in the community, but we could not invite anybody much because hall is so small. We invited maximum 100 people who have been supporting, a good friend of us and well-wisher, and our prospective partner of Phoenix School, as Cedric has mentioned. Care services are based on understanding a person's needs. I'm sure that some of the speaker has said differently, but I'd like to highlight a few issues. Providing care to meet those needs and monitoring the care to make sure it is of high quality and achieving the right outcomes. Health and social care services are aimed at all ages, background, and walks of life. Whether the persons have physical, learning, or mental disability, an illness, or simply need support, they can be helped through a difficult period in their life or throughout their lives. A combination of longer life expectancy due to better health care, healthier lifestyles, especially for people with disabilities, and long-term health conditions, is resulting in a greater demand of social care services. While people living longer and healthier lives are obviously to be celebrated, this does, of course, place extra pressure on our health and social care system. What is the factual information? The numbers of people aged over 75 is expected to rise by 63% between 2016 to 2036. And the number of adults aged 85 or over, the age group most likely to need care, is rising faster than population as a whole in the country. Country means I'm talking about United Kingdom. By 2025, there will be an extra 1.52 million people aged 65 or over in England, while it is estimated that 1 in 3 babies born after 2013 will be lived to be age of 100. The number of paid adult social workers in the UK is 1.5 million at present. Around 900,000 social care roles are vacant or unfilled. 80% of social care workers are female. 1 in 5 social workers is aged 55 or over. So what about the middle-aged and young people? Therefore, it is important that local authorities and central government should think about setting up institutes to train more people with the knowledge and skill of care workers to serve vulnerable people as fully equipped. The Mayor of London Borough of Tower Hamlets may think to initiate a pilot project on this. In that case, Apasen is happy to develop this kind of partnership with the council. I'm not pressuring you, it's up to you, but this is an opportunity to raise this issue. Around 8% of the UK population were informal carers in 2016 to 2017. 5.4 million people, equivalent to 5.4 million people. 33% whom were caring for parents outside their own household. What that values? Dignity and respect, learning and reflection, working together, commitment to quality care and support. That is the main objective of the care work. It is important to mention here that Apasen has number of projects. I think it has been mentioned, but I like to highlight and clarify differently. We have core 5 projects. This has been mentioned: home and community care, daycare, corridor, and we are planning to open either Newham or Barking-Dagenham. We got large number of clients coming every day. We are escorting them by transport. We use 4 minibuses every day, which is not enough. Over 100 young people attending our day services in Tower Hamlets itself, and in Croydon, about nearly 30. We have residential respite care, as Pamela has mentioned, and training project. Information, advice, and advocacy is very important area, and is very important. In addition, Apasen is the lead organization of E3 Consortium. I don't know whether you know that. E3 Consortium has been funded by the CLG 4 years ago. And this year, and we have been leading with 5 other organizations, and most of the representatives are here. I don't want to waste your time by repeating, but the successful consortium we have been working and for the last 4 years. And in fact, I think yesterday we have submitted our bid for another year. And this year government has introduced for 3 million budget for London and Outer London. LBT has commissioned Apasen to lead an international disability of person, which is the UNESCO declared in 1992 as the International Day. So we have been leading for the whole borough for the last 3 years. And we have heard verbally it's been extended for another year. We are considering new initiative or new program for the dedicated care staff in the coming year. I think lots of care workers newly joined. I'd like to tell everyone, all the care workers, that you need to retain, you need to stay with us, and we are trying to give you best incentive. And we are trying to introduce some new incentive program in the new year. That's our plan. On top of you are getting your normal training, on top of your the gloves and bags Shoaib has introduced, and other training, other facilities, and London living wage, table fare, etc. But I don't want to disclose it what it will be, but it should be exciting one in the near future. I'm sure you understand about our international program, which Sadiq has mentioned in Bangladesh from the documentary itself. We have 100 very poor children attending 5 centers in Bangladesh, one in Sylhet, one in Dhaka. You'll be surprised to know that it is a Gulshan diplomatic zone area in Islam. So another one in Gazipur, one in Pavna, one in Khulna. And we have been working for the last 3 years with one leading NGO named BRAC. BRAC is our operating partner, and what we like to say that in the conference bag, you can see there's a leaflet. You might confuse. It's a project information and a child sponsorship. It's a very simple thing. I can see, lots of people can see community television, how they raise money, particularly in Ramadan. And we have tried twice, and we decided not to. I think it is kind of I'm not saying, some charities are giving misleading information to the community. And community always respect and honor, and quickly when they become soft when the religious issue comes. So we are not going to that way. What we are trying to simple, you can sponsor one child who is 240 pounds and a direct debit form in the conference bag. You can just sign it, send it, you can one-off. It is not much. We like to have, what will happen, you will be a sponsor for a child, you will get a report, the child's progression, and you'll be associated as a friend of Apasen International. You give lots of money, lots of donation. It's a one packet of cigarettes money, I think, how many, 20 pounds a month? It's not much. We are thankful to London Borough of Tower Hamlets. Anyway, the Tower Hamlets has changed dramatically about the care sector itself was quite in a mess. And for the last few years, it's quite a change. And after new tender system, procurement, I think it is running better comparatively before. And we also have daycare services with Red Beach Council, Walthamstow, Newham, Barking-Dagenham, Croydon, Hackney, and Kingston. My personal appreciation and thanks to the trustees board members for their support. Dedicated workforce, obviously, apart from care worker, we have our colleagues in the office. Day and night, they are working hard. Sometimes Christmas time, Christmas Day, we open the office. And our service is 365 days a year. our project managers, and senior colleagues. I don't want to name so many, and that the journey we have made to achieve Apasen's objectives for the last 15 years since I joined in 2002. And I don't want to bore you. And Apasen's, I have seen, and I thought when I joined, there is a possibility to make it an organization unique and more needful. And overall support we have got from the trustees and the community, but one person's name I must mention, that who has encouraged me and who has personally said, yes, I'm with you, I support you, and I said, you support me, but I need my conditional support. The person who was then Social Services Director, I am sure Ian Wilson his name. I forgot his name. Yes, Ian Wilson? Yes. One day I went to see him, just I'm telling you this real facts. And I said, Ian, I'm planning to leave Tower Hamlets. He said, why? I said, I'm frustrated. And he said, no, I want to see Apasen to become a leading organization. Are you happy to take the challenge? I said, I want to take the challenge. But are you happy to help? He said, what kind of help you need? Then I show him my 3 pages strategy. And as he just flicked through, and 5 minutes he said, I'm ready to help you. And he said, okay, what do you want? Then I have given my ideas. And he has immediately endorsed. And he has supported me, I believe. And one of the security conference, I went there, and he has mentioned, as soon as he showed me, and so he has mentioned my name and Apasen's name. He said, oh, this organization is planning to develop, and I'm sure. And that day, I remember, I dropped him back to Mulberry Place. Anyway, this is the real fact. However, my encouragement, my trustees, and all the founder members, some of the founder members passed away, and one of the members is still alive. I think he has got medical problem, he could not make it tonight. So, I have seen what the dean, they say respite. And one simple case, or one of the trustees, and he went to Bangladesh to attend a wedding. And he also decided to go for Hajj. And he could not come back on time. So he delayed, his flight was cancelled. He had to borrow money to buy additional ticket to come, make sure his son was the respite. I don't know the name the respite care. And he could not get extended. In this story I have seen and I have dealt it. And that day I thought, yes, we must do something. Then Apasen has set up respite care. And it is, Pamela has mentioned. Finally, I'd like to introduce the quick guide. You have seen a quick guidebook. It's called Care in the Community. It's a theme that we have chosen. And we have chosen about 2 months ago. And surprisingly, this same theme was on the Sky investigation report yesterday. And yesterday, I have seen this Sky report. It was on the Sky News yesterday about care in the community, what is the benefit and how it can work. And Sir Stephen Bobs has been interviewed at the news yesterday, and he is the author of, I'm sure he's a very well-known international figure, and he has mentioned about care in the community. And I think Apasen is very in the fine line that we would like to achieve more in the future. Finally, please read this book. It is useful for everybody. We have done some research. Thank you. This is the book. The inside, I don't want to go through all pages. There's some facts and figures, and it is kind of guidance for all carers. Sometimes carers are abused when go to the going to provide service because it's kind of neglected. They came from third world countries and the domestic worker. It's not. Every worker must be respected, and you're doing a humanitarian job. It's an honorable job, and you are helping a person and giving him or her a relief. And same time, people who are receiving the service, they need to understand how to give the respect. What is the responsibility? And also, people does not understand how the stakeholder and the service provider works. And as a service provider, it is also not our obligation to produce this. This is the concept of community development and as a perspective on community development and community empowering. Because we need to empower our community about their rights and also follow the rules and regulation and not to tap on the safeguarding. This is my main objectives of this conference. I very much hope that this booklet will be helpful, and thank you very much, all of you, to attend this conference.
Thank you so much.
Hope you'll enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you. If I could please ask you to be seated here. Please don't go off yet. And if I could request our very special guests here today to come on stage, and please join Mr. Hassan. If I could have our Executive Mayor of London Borough of Tower Hamlets, Mr. John Biggs, on stage, and also our MP of Bowen Bethnal Green, Rishnara Ali, to please join Mr. Hassan on stage. Thank you. Take a seat, and whilst you take a seat, John, I'm going to ask you, whilst Rishnara makes her way, to say a few words about the event today, and thank you for coming. You can come here, right here if you want. Yes, please, come.
Thank you. So, good evening, assalamu alaikum, and it's a great privilege. The microphone's gone funny. Yes, it's a great privilege to be here this evening at this event. And interestingly, I've known Apasen for so long that I knew it when it had a longer name. I guess I've probably known Apasen and its works for about 30 years plus now in Tower Hamlets. And I know that good things prosper, and Apasen has done good work for our community. And I'm here to show my respect for the leadership of Mahmoud Hassan and the various lay people who supported him and kept an eye on him and held him to account, and also the many workers who have dedicated their lives. And also, I'll come back to this in a bit later actually, but it's interesting, it's a great challenge being the mayor of Tower Hamlets, and there's an awful lot to do. And as someone said previously, we've had quite a challenging time in the last few years. I think Mahmoud Hassan actually said that we were in a bit of a mess with our care services, and there were some challenges. And I think that with the leadership of people like Apasen, but also leadership within the council and a few tough decisions, we've actually got ourselves into a better place. Mention's been made of the Ethical Care Charter. And I was very determined when I became mayor that we should attempt to follow the Ethical Care Charter. I often go to meetings with other council leaders in London, and there are about 8 or 9, I think, local authorities in London who have adopted the Ethical Care Charter. Many of us are living wage employers as well. And why do we do that? Do we do it as a gimmick? A leader of a council who hadn't done it and who had a big financial challenge said that they simply couldn't afford to do it. And I think the ethical care has cost our borough, in terms of the cost of our home care services, about £3.5 million a year additional in costs. And that's quite a large sum of money, even in an authority like Tower Hamlets. And is that an appropriate investment? And I think the answer is very clearly, yes, it is. And I'm very clear that I have lots to do as the mayor. We We need to support people to get new homes. We need to support people to get into work. We need to recognise that this is a very enterprising borough and we achieve great success. But to achieve that success, we often have to support and help and nudge people. We need to support our schools. We need to help people at times in their lives when perhaps they need to make a change of work as well. But I'm pretty clear also, as mayor and leader in this community, alongside the many other leaders in our community, that we're only really worth the work we do if we show compassion and support for people who are vulnerable in our community. And interestingly, I was at an event the other day where someone was talking about cleaning staff, and this is an interesting anecdote. They said, someone said, I was a cleaner, and I'd go into the office in the morning and clean it, and I would be there when the staff arrived, and as far as they were concerned, I was more or less invisible, they felt, as a cleaning member of staff. And I make this point because quite often we take people who do supporting roles for granted in our community, and that is absolutely something that we should not do. And I'd reflect on another point, which is people talk about the recent turmoil in politics across our planet, whether it's in the USA or in Brazil or in wherever else, or in the UK. And I think one of the foundations of it is that we need to look again at what we value and what we support in our community. And many of us in this room, most of us are probably parents, and as a parent, very simple question, would you want to trust the care of your child to someone who is invisible or taken for granted or paid at a low rate or so undervalued that there's a high turnover of staff, who isn't trained, who isn't paid for things that other people take for granted? I remember when, I'm at risk of being a politician with the microphone and going on far too long, so I better shut up in a minute, by the way. But I remember when my mother, who had dementia, when she was receiving care support in her home in another borough, I once phoned the care agency when I was young and naive, and I said, you don't need to send a carer this evening because I can go down and put my mum to bed, and I did that. And the next week I bumped into the same carer, and she said to me, you do realise, she said, that when you cancel it I don't get paid. And I thought, wow. And I think a lot of people don't realise that in the zero-hour care economy, and this is true of many jobs, people's very livelihood depends on casual decisions made by other people. And so I wanted to introduce dignity, and in return for that, we will have a better motivated, better supported, better trained, better valued workforce. And there's another thing as well, which is, we can make lots of money on the financial markets, and lots of people do make lots of money on the financial markets. We can make money by selling cars and by doing other sort of whizzy things. But if we don't attach the proper value to the care we give to people in our society, then we are selling all of ourselves short. And so that's why I'm unequivocal in supporting ethical care. Ethical care doesn't, in my view, go far enough. And we need to transform the way in which we value people in our society. I'll finish very swiftly by saying the following, that as mayor, I have to offer leadership in all sorts of ways in the community, but I can't do that without the leadership offered by other people. And I think leadership comes in many ways. Obviously, Mahmoud Hassan as the leader of this organisation, and my old mate Amir as, I think he's still the chair, and the many other people. He is. Yeah, I think he is. I think it's a lifetime position. But he does it. He does it, by the way, as a labour of love. And he was brought to this by experience, but the experience has helped him to develop as a person as well. And the leadership of people like those two men, but also the many other people in the organisation who have offered leadership down the years, the many people he work in partnership with, including local teachers, including local authority social services staff, but also, by the way, the carers, of course, themselves. And our carers are great people, and I pay tribute to our carers. And I think also, perhaps I should, since I'm thanking everyone, this is like an Oscar ceremony, I want to also celebrate and mention and thank the many parents and informal carers in our community who put up with a lot as well. And we have to show our proper support and esteem for people in that position as well. So I'm really proud and pleased to be here this evening, and also to be the warm-up for Rashnara Ali before we move on perhaps to Q&As. So thank you very much for receiving me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yes, quite rightly said, that was a very good warm-up for our MP, Rashnara Ali. So please, could you come on stage and say a few words? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Well, I think that you've heard probably everything you need to hear about Apasen. So all I have to say is hopefully not too, I won't make a very long speech, because I know that you're probably all ready for dinner. But I want to start off by congratulating Mr. Hassan, as well as Mr. Hussein and the rest of the Apasen team. When I first got involved, with in politics, one of the first organizations I had the pleasure of meeting is Apasen. And Mr. Hussein, who's a Labour member, said to me, you must come and see what we're doing. And he talked to me about his own family's experience and how this idea came about from the direct experience of the British Bangladeshi community here in this area back in 1984, when there were very few services supporting young children, their children with disabilities and other care needs. And out of that came a phenomenal organization that has lasted many decades, and long may that continue. And what Apasen has done is, as well as working across this city and across different communities, is also to expand internationally and into Bangladesh. And that's why it's such a great source of pride for us to be here today to mark the work that the carers, the staff members, the trustees, the funders, and many others, many of the supporters, all of you, do to make this organization what it is. As someone who's been involved with starting up charities, I know how hard it is. Even when you manage to pull the hard task off of getting something up and running, how hard it is to keep it alive and keep it going. And what I see in the team and the founders and the trustees is that absolute determination to keep helping those who need help. And that almost kind of missionary zeal that you all have is what's so special about this charity, but it's also what's so special about what goes on here in the East End, here in my constituency. This is a place that is famous for seeing problems and then coming up with solutions, not waiting for governments to come and sort it out, but the community coming up with solutions. And that's the way in which this organization operates. But you're operating in an incredibly difficult climate. This government, since 2010, has cut social care budgets by £7 billion. That means that here in this borough, where the borough's expenditure is about 21 million, is not enough. And that's why we need to make sure that the government, the national government, gets a grip on the need for social care. Not only for young people who are vulnerable, but older people and those who need support across our society. Because if we don't address the care needs of our populations, our communities, then we are not a society that can be proud of how we support those who are vulnerable. We have to be a society that protects the vulnerable. And internationally, Apasen's work, particularly in Bangladesh, highlights the importance of supporting people to live independently and in dignity. And that is something that's extremely important for us. We know about the attitudes, the negative attitudes towards those with special needs, those with disabilities, those with learning difficulties, and much else. We know that in this country, we've seen it. We see the level of discrimination people face. So we know it's much worse in developing countries, and that's why what this organization does is so powerful. In terms of the work you do to make the case through your members of parliament, through other elected representatives, to make the case for support, it's really vital. So it's a great source of pride that you are the organization that started here in this area and have gone on from strength to strength. And I hope that that continues. We will continue to support you in whatever way we can to access funds from foundations, from government, wherever possible, while we campaign for a better resource social care system. We have to do that together, because if we want to reverse the cuts of the scale we've seen over the last 8 years, we're going to have to work closely together in partnership between councils, between members of parliament, between community organisations, between expert organisations, between foundations and others. And I see the breadth of support this organisation has, and it's exactly what needs to be marshalled to keep campaigning to ensure that the government takes this agenda seriously. So thank you very much for everything you've done and you continue to do to support people, not just in this borough, but elsewhere. And I wish you every success for the future.
Thank you very much, Rushnara Ali. Sorry, I'd like to request you both to please, well, three, to please be seated and take part in our Q&A. So the floor, it's open to the floor. So if anybody has any questions about today's conference, or you'd like more information about a certain topic that was discussed today, please feel free to ask. I'll give it about 10 minutes, and then we can move on and hopefully wrap up for today. Is there a question? Yes, I can't really see. Yes. Brilliant, thank you. Please introduce yourself and what is your question?
My name's Rahina Qureshi. I'm a care...
If you just pull it up slightly, thank you.
My name's Rahina Qureshi. I'm the care coordinator of Apasen Home Care. I'd like to ask the panel, preferably Andrew from UK Home Care Association. The question is,
Sorry, can I ask you to hold the mic? I can't hear you.
Our care worker have to go through so many training and courses and now diploma before they can actually start work. Is there any plan to give our staff a formal recognition as a care worker in the future? Just the way nurses, NMC, and the social workers, HCPC, have.
Okay, thank you very much. We have Andrew joining us again. Thank you so much. Would you like to take this?
Hi. So the registration of care workers is something that is talked about from time to time. I guess one of the key things is that if there is registration, we'd like to see it associated with the proper funding for that registration. And so if the government wanted to introduce it, not to put the cost on the individual care workers, not to put the cost on the providers, but to actually properly fund that registration system. I think the other thing would be that actually to not get confused between qualifications and skills, because there's a lot of very dedicated and skilled care staff who don't have a lot of qualifications, but they are fantastic at what they do. And so I think any registration program, the key would be make it fully funded and minimise the barriers and the bureaucracy.
Thank you very much. Rishnara, do you want to touch on that as well?
I just want to, I agree with what's been said. One thing I would say is that I think it's really important that we deal with the shortage. There is a massive shortage in care workers in this country, and it's going to get worse with Brexit because of uncertainties about EU migrants and also the fact that unemployment levels have gone down, which means that we are going to have to make sure that migrants are able to come and work here. So that's a major area of concern, as well as providing training for those who need the training in order to get into this particular career. And I think there is something in making sure that people have a pathway into training and career progression. So while it's important that people have entry points into becoming care workers, I think it's really important to create a progression route for people so they have careers in the sector, because this is a growing sector. We're all going to get older. The aging population is growing, and it's going to continue. So as a society, we need to invest more. And I think this government needs to be honest about what it's doing. They are saying to care organizations that they should pay a higher national minimum wage. I support the need for increasing the minimum wage, but it's very important that the government doesn't pass on the costs down without providing additional funding, whether it's to local authorities or other agencies, because that's putting some of those organizations at risk of closure, which is going to make the problem worse. And the final thing I would say is that I hope if there is a chance of a general election at some point before 22 or at that point, if there is a Labour government, I very much hope that we will invest in training and support and education and career progression. And I certainly will make that case to my colleagues who lead in this agenda.
Thank you so much. John? Yes.
So we all, okay.
Yes, go ahead. That's fine.
I'm happy to agree with the other two speakers, but I guess I will add briefly to that obviously my job is to condemn the Tory government and everything they do, but sometimes they, by accident or design, get things right, and I think changing the name of the Department of State to the Department for Health and Social Care is a pretty important, initially symbolic thing, because what it's telling us is that it's not just about hospitals, it's not just about sickness, a national sickness service. It's about caring for people across our community and having the right hierarchy of care across our community. And the reason I make that point then is because if we are, as I've argued already in my earlier comments, moving towards a world where we give greater status and importance to our care workers, both through reward, but also through the expectations of the role that they will carry out, then there needs to be better accreditation, qualifications, and registration. But I'd emphasize the point that was made earlier, that it's not about academic qualifications necessarily. This is a mixture of vocational and other work. So we need to make sure that we have the right qualifications. We don't set artificial barriers, but the quid pro quo for a service held in higher esteem is higher expectations and regulation, and I think we should all welcome that, because we're looking at the status of people and the care we afford to our vulnerable people in the community.
Thank you so much. Any more questions? I will ask any one person from the panel to please take a question, if that's okay. Any more questions? Excellent. Oh, sorry, I'll come to you next, I promise. Right, yeah. Sorry, I can't hear you. If you could come forward.
Hello?
Yes. Brilliant.
My name is Mahmouda. I'm working in Apasen Day Center. I'm senior support worker. My question is, Roshnari, please, how would you able to help and support our Apasen International in Bangladesh to grow, if it's possible for you? Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think the best way that the Apasen in Bangladesh could be supported is twofold. One is, and I know that work is going on, one is a partnership with the government of Bangladesh, to ensure that the lessons that are learnt in this country are shared, that we work in partnership with them to make sure that the social care that's provided is an approach that will be beneficial to those in Bangladesh. The second is obviously financing, and I know there have been discussions with the UK Department for International Development to look at how to finance expansion and delivery in Bangladesh. That's something, and when I was in the Shadow International Development team in the 2010 to 15 Parliament, one of the things we campaigned on and ensured that the UK government integrated into the global development goals, the sustainable development goals, is to ensure that disability is a key priority for the international community, which it wasn't so explicit before in the Millennium Development Goals. So that's an important lever for developing countries, because it means that money will have to also go to tackle, to provide support for those who are particularly vulnerable and particularly those with disabilities. So there are different channels for Apasen International to pursue, and DFID is one of those channels. So I hope they are doing that, but obviously anything I can do to support applications to DFID, I'm very happy to do so.
Thank you very, very much for that. We had a question here. If you could please introduce yourself and your question. Who is your question directed to?
I'm not sure, actually.
Ask away first.
Hi, I'm Veronica Armson. I'm Associate Head at Phoenix School in Tower Hamlets. We're a special school for children with autism, and hoping to do lots of work in Bangladesh ourselves. I've got personal experience of keeping my mum at home with wonderful care in the home. She qualified for continuous health care. However, the cost of care is extortionate and really something that is inaffordable for most families. What do you think we can do about that?
Yeah. Who would like to take that question from the panel? John?
I'll just warm up for Rashnara. So it's my role. So I think there's an elephant in the room, as they say, which is that funding people's care, particularly as we live longer, we have longer illnesses, and as the cohort of those with longer-term disabilities in our community of all ages is growing, is something that urgently needs to be addressed by government. And I think the good news is that everyone recognises it. The bad news is they haven't yet worked out quite how to do it. We're nudging in that direction, and we need a Labour government to take this forward further. Well, I'd be very happy if the current Conservative government found a way of doing it. I don't see immediate sign of that, but it's a very, very urgent need. Rashnara.
I like the way he just went, Rashnara. Take the mic.
We make a good double act. So I think we need to be really honest about the fact that it's very expensive, as you rightly pointed out, to provide the level of care in the age of higher life expectancy. I think there is a tension, intergenerational tension, between the older population having benefited much more, the baby boomers in particular, and the younger generation feeling and actually bearing the brunt of the cost. So we do need to think about how the tax burden is shared, because, the simplistic answer would be to say, well, the only way and the best way to support, to create a national care service that is fit for the 21st century is to have higher taxes. And in principle, we are going to have to move in that direction. But within that, we do need to think about who pays what. And I know that's where the contention is. I don't think that it would be right for people with large amounts of assets, for instance, not to make a higher contribution than those that don't have it. Because we are already a very unequal society in lots of ways, but also, in particular, in terms of the assets that some sections of the population have and others don't. So we will need to think creatively about how to tax assets and wealth along with general taxation to provide care for those, so that we have minimum standards for everybody that everyone can expect. And then there has to be a way in which additional resources are provided, where there has to be a progressive route to taxing assets. That's not Labour Party policy, but that's the kind of, those are the kinds of creative ideas that people need to, among others, need to think about. And the final thing I'd say is that this is an agenda where you have to have a way of bringing different sections of the political classes to look long term. You cannot do this in election cycles. It has to be worked through very, very in very detail, in a great deal of detail. Otherwise, we're going to end up with short-term solutions and putting plasters on the wound, and that's just not good enough.
Thank you
And
very
I do
much.
suggest in Wales there are a lot of really good things that are happening with the care system, and it's very different to England as well. So, again, that's worth looking at.
There will be changes, hopefully. Thank you so much. I will ask one last question, a very quick question. There's one question right over there in the middle. Councillor from Redbridge right there, if I'm right. If you stand up for me. Oh, sorry. Thank you. There we are. What was your question? The lady with the yellow sari on there, black and yellow sari. Sorry, just going to wait for a mic. Oh, wow. Is there a fight for 2 mics? Sorry, I'm really, really sorry. You will get time to network, so please go ahead and ask your questions. Last question, a very quick one.
My question is to Hassan Bhai. Tower Hamlet has enjoyed, or you had the pleasure to have Apasen and the services in Tower Hamlets. When are you going to be branching out to your neighbouring boroughs?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I have mentioned in my speech that Redbridge is one of the borough we are looking for, but Redbridge is, I think, some people said most of the colleagues, my colleagues live in Redbridge. This is a very good borough. I think it's worse than Tower Hamlets. So money, you don't have money. So you are a councillor. We are happy. You just call us. We are next door. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can discuss that over dinner, but thank you very, very much. And honestly, thank you to our panel here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could ask you to please be seated. It's the last part of this evening before we have dinner. As we mentioned right at the beginning, Apasen have worked so hard for over 30 years now. And it's been mentioned quite a few times by a number of people that have come here on stage tonight, that care workers play such an important role in our community as human beings, because it is in their nature to want to help people, to want to be there for them, to want to do something. They get paid the national minimum wage, yet they probably have the most hardest jobs possible. We trust our mothers, our sisters, our fathers, our brothers with these care workers. We believe that when we go to work, we will come back home to our family, and our parents will be there to receive us, and they will be happy. The most important thing, they will be happy. And this would not be possible without the care workers of Apasen, and we thank you for your hard work that you do every day, every year, 24 hours a day. Thank you. And on that note, Apasen has decided to award 4 employees of the year. So if I could call upon stage our first, yes, let's give them a round of applause. Our first Employee of the Year from Apasen Home and Community Services, and the award for Employee of the Year 2018 goes to Mohammed Kaliur Rahman. Please come on stage and receive your award. Congratulations. Well done. Thank you. Yes, can I ask everyone to stand? Great, thank you. And thank you very much. If I could now call upon stage, if I could ask Mohammed to please come and stand on my right. If you could come and stand on my right. Thank you very much. If I could now call upon stage our next winner from the Tower Hamlets Daycare Service. The award for Employee of the Year 2018 goes to Mr. Abdul Mumin. Thank you very much. Thank you. If I could ask you to also join Mohammed there. And thirdly, Employee of the Year for Apasen Croydon Daycare Service goes to Rafi Ahmed Chowdhury. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you very much. And last but not least, from Apasen Lodge Residential Respite, the Employee of the Year is Jannatul Firdaus. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all the employees, and I'd like to thank our panel judges today that were here today as well. Thank you very much. Please go enjoy your dinner. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you very much. And once again, if I could actually take a second to just appreciate. Shh, we are nearly done. I've got 5 minutes. We are nearly done, I promise. Let's show some respect. Thank you. Can I please request for all the employees that are here today that are from Apasen to just stand up for a second so I could say a big thank you to them, because you are all amazing. Can we all please give them a round of applause to all the employees around the room today, because without you, without your hard work, today would not have been possible. This care industry would not have been the same. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your evening. Right, the next award is a very special award. Shh. I know you're all excited. Atrium do provide one of the best foods ever. I love them. But please just hold that hunger in, because I have one more award. And if I could please ask everyone to shh for a second. Brothers at the back, please. Staff members of Atrium, please. Thank you very much. Now, the next award is for someone very special. She can't come on stage, but it's okay because we will come to you. And she has been the longest serving volunteer for Apasen, and she has worked at the head office for many years now. She also had a vision and a mission that she would not stop volunteering despite the hardship she faced. And the best thing about it was, Apasen saw that vision and promised to help, and they have till date. So our next award, and to give it out, if I could please have just here to come on stage, if I could please have Mr. Umesh Desai, member for Greater London Authority, to please come on stage and give out this award to our Volunteer of the Year. It is none other than Shahjada Akhtar. Please make some noise. Thank you. She volunteered, but she's a holder of 2 master's degrees. If I could also ask John Biggs and Andrew to come back and just take a picture with our very special member of the Apasen family. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much, and congratulations again, Shahjada Akhtar. Thank you very, very much. I've been asked to say a quick message. She wants to say a big thank you to Saeed Jaffrey for giving this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a great evening, and once again, I want to thank Apasen for their great work that they do, and most importantly, I want to thank the care workers that are here today, the stakeholders that support Apasen. I want to thank you all for your hard work, for everything that you do every day. It was great being your host this evening. I will conclude with a great cultural activity and followed by some food being served from the atrium. But once again, I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. Please enjoy the rest of your evening. Please give yourself a round of applause.